Hi, guys.
And go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hey guys, Steve and Mike back for the McCarthy Brothers super fun heavy metal hour show, whatever you guys want to call it.
Great time,
and we are here back with some album reviews. A lot of albums in heavy metal came out, a lot of great stuff, a lot of meh stuff. Nothing bad, so that's good.
Crock on Gren tomorrow.
Crack and Gren comes out tomorrow, yeah. So today we're going to be talking about a band that I'm excited to talk about, and I'd never even heard of them before we saw them open for Gojira. You had already been into them, and that band is Code Orange. And what did Code Orange bring to us in 2020, and how was their album that came out? And that album was Underneath. I don't know, what is it, their third album? Fourth?
I believe it's their fourth. Their first two were the Code Orange Kids. Or no, Code Orange Kids, and then Code Orange, and then Forever, and yeah. So this is their fourth.
Gotcha. And so now we are going to let you know what we thought about their fourth album. Go ahead, Mike.
So for me, this is probably right off the bat my album of the year to date. I mean, July starts in a couple days, so first half of 2020, this is my album of the year. I was really looking forward to this. I know, having listened to interviews with them, and they pretty much took off 2019 to put this album together, and they kept it under pretty tight wraps, and they didn't do much touring, and I know they wanted to do something different. Forever, for me, was such a good album. You could see them, they start out as pretty much a pure hardcore band, mixing in some metal elements, and then with Forever, they really introduced some more industrial elements, which I'm totally fine with. And this album just really saw them bring it out even more. I mean, Jamie, he's no longer the drummer singer. They brought him out into the front, and they're doing a lot.
Good choice, I think.
I do too. Yeah. Especially, it allows them to focus a lot more on it, and it's just
especially live. Like, I can't wait to it'll be a while, but I can't wait to see
I mean, they were
live.
going to have an album release show with Every Time I Die.
Yeah.
They ended up putting on the album release show to an empty venue, and they've been playing online shows since they've released the album. And
that was like the first week of like shutdown. That was like the week of
mid-March.
Mid-March.
And it was just seeing some of these live, seeing the videos that were coming out, seeing what they are doing. Just in terms of it's very easy for a band to. You can see that these guys want to evolve with everything that they do. They want to push their boundaries. They want to push themselves to make another great album. I mean, it'd be easy to make another. I mean, they got catapulted up from where they were with Forever, and they got a lot of exposure. And it'd be easy for them to put out another Forever and try and build on that. But they decided, no, we're going to put in the work. We're going to do this how we want to, and we're going to take our time. And right off the bat, I mean, they have the really cool intro. And then it goes right into Swallowing the Rabbit Hole, which is just, I think, one of the stronger tracks on the album. And you could tell with a lot of these songs, there's no structure, there's no melody. But I don't feel like, even though there isn't the typical structure, I don't feel that they're lost in any way.
Right.
I don't feel that they're just flailing about.
I'm going to use a corporate slogan here. Okay. So there's a lot to unpack with this album.
Yeah,
and I mean that in an awesome way, because the smallest of samples, the tiniest of noises, the cymbals that they use on the drums that sound like glass breaking, the little samples they put in everywhere, it is a lot to unpack. For your ears to hear for the first time, it is overwhelming in a Christmas morning sense of the word.
And like, even with like going back to Swallowing the Rabbit Hole, where they, in the middle of the song, they have like, it sounds like two glitches where it just pauses, right?
That was so cool.
Just for them to put that in there and to, like, if you have somebody listen to that, like, they think that something's wrong with it, and it's some of
the reaction videos I saw, everybody kind of stops and they're like, oh, well, I thought it was buffering, and it is really cool. So the opener was Deeper Than Before, and that's the intro track. And actually, I love listening to that. It feels like it almost feels like the trailer before the movie, and I love the way it sounds. And it would be really cool if they integrated it with some live video when they come on, because there's a concept to this album, and I don't know what it is.
I'm not good at picking up on stuff.
Yeah, so I apologize if you know what the concept is. Let us know in the comments. But the concept obviously I think it's dark dystopian type thing, maybe where they see society heading. I might be totally off, but that's the trailer that starts it off, and you hear the bulging sounds, and like you said, Swallowing the Rabbit Hole, first single out of the gate.
Wasn't the first single?
Oh, you're right. They did
Underneath.
Underneath title track,
which is the last track on the album.
Yep. And Swallowing the Rabbit Hole. That was the first single I heard, I guess, from the album, and the harmonics on that song, the guitar riffs, so interesting, so unique. The way they did it, I thought was, like you said, I can't say anything more about the track, and I love the glass breaking. The glass breaking in the middle is so awesome. Because
it goes back to those, like, that good hardcore breakdown where they incorporated so many different elements, but they're still a good base that they kept.
Yep.
Just for the hardcore and the metal.
And I give that song 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was fantastic. In Fear is the next track,
yep.
And I thought I love the intro riff of it, dun dun, and it has the little computer samples.
Yeah.
And then it kind of petered out for me a little bit, but I mean, I thought it was a decent track. And then it goes on to You and You Alone. A lot to unpack, I wrote. Great chorus, great ratty sound effects. I don't know, rattling sound effects. I gave that one 4.5 stars.
Yeah.
I thought that one was awesome. Goes to 5, which is Who I Am. Industrial experimental track. Reba's on the vocals. Good chorus.
Reba did a lot of good vocals on this. I mean, you could see that on the last album with, when they put out the single Bleed in the Blur, which was kind of their bigger hit because it's not as metal, so it was more accessible to people.
More accessible, more radio rock, yeah.
But Reba, I thought, sounded great on this album.
I thought Who I Am had very strong drum fills and rhythm on it. I thought it had a good pounding rhythm. Number 6, one of my other favorite tracks on the album, Cold Metal Place. That's
probably my favorite.
So let me know if you got this vibe too. That outro riff, so Dimebag Darrell.
Yeah,
so Dimebag Darrell, so Far Beyond Driven. It sounded like Slipknot, something from Iowa, mixed with Far Beyond Driven, packed together.
And then like in the middle, there's that where it gets real quiet, and then you just have that like, and like with the roll-in drum and just the atmosphere that it builds, and it's just that I just thought is just such a good song.
Made me think of the new, not the New Black. It made me think of a Slipknot song, but that's what it sounded like. That riff at the end, I could just hear.
New
Dime.
Abortion?
The wow is perfect. And then came Sulfur Surroundings.
Yep.
Acoustic intro, Reba on vocals.
Reba, yep. That's
catchy chorus. Growing riffs. The bridge, scathing. I love the solo in that song, and then some twin guitars that we got. I gave that one 4.5 stars out of 5. The Easy Way, I think, is my rating. It gave me a 9 Inch Nails KMFDM vibe, very industrial, very old school 90s. I thought that was really cool. Erasure Scan, again, one of my favorite tracks on the album. Great riff, great effects. Sounds like Hatebreed, Fear Factory, heavy breakdown. That was my interpretation.
Yeah, I got a lot of Fear Factory in this.
Last one's left. Heavy and Crushing. I give that one 3.5. Autumn and Carbine. Again, Reba on vocals. Very melodic. More rock oriented. Post grunge. That's kind of the feeling I got. Some of her tracks that she was on. Alice in Chains was some of the stuff that was coming through to me when she was on it. Even though it didn't have those twin vocals. Back Inside the Glass. Right out of the gate, Insanity, amazing use of samples, time signatures are just crazy. It's all over the place. I love it. It's like abstract paintings with the splatters.
And that's one of the things I'm interested to see live too. Is it's just how they'll, and I know that they'll be awesome live. The couple times I've seen them, and I'm just really excited to see these ones live.
Oh yeah, A Sliver, spacey, grungy song. Punk, it moves up to like a punk middle, better transition, techno, industrial close, and then of course the last song on the album, Underneath, catchiest of all the songs. Alice in Chains meets Chimera was my.
I was gonna say because it's not
Chimera.
It wasn't the heaviest track on the album, but it was still like you never think that they go soft as not heavy as they can be at times. There's always so much to it. There's so much depth in these, and so much
very layered.
Yeah,
very layered. And that's like what really made me appreciate this album is, like you said, they took their time. They built something that they truly loved, and they wanted people to discover and peel back. And they did a fantastic job. I mean, my overall thought on this album was it was a beautifully ugly album.
Yeah.
It was made to sound ugly, and they turned that into something beautiful. And it made me think of like a repurposed shell of a rotting building from an industrial city, like a Rust Belt city. Something they took, it was there, it was decaying, and someone came, gave it some love, and now all of a sudden it's like a place that people want to be. And that was the feeling I got with this album.
And it's interesting because like when that album came out and I'm reading reviews of it, or I'm looking at like people's comments on it, and there's a lot of people who absolutely loved it, and then there's people who just they think it's the worst thing ever, or they wish it was more metal, or and whatever. I don't. It's just for me personally, so far this is my album of the year.
And then these are the bands I thought of while listening to it. Was Slipknot, Pantera, Hatebreed, Chimera, KMFDM, Gojira, and Antichrist Superstar era Marilyn Manson.
That's a good
really
one.
kind of what came through, and it was all mixed together. And if you like any one of those bands, you're gonna find something on this album that you'll like.
Yeah.
And I gave it 8.5 out of 10 James Hetfields. 8.5. So remember, Master of Puppets is 10 out of 10 James Hetfields, and that's the only album I've given 10 out of 10 so far. So 8.5 out of 10. And I agree with you. I think that it will probably be my album of the year. Well, I don't know. We have a review coming up, and there is an album that I've been listening to more than this one, and you hate it.
Alabama.
Alestorm.
Okay.
And we'll talk about
right.
Alestorm when we get there. But pirate metal versus industrial post-grunge hardcore.
That'd be a tour.
Yeah.
I would give this one. I give it 9.5 horns up because it's
worthy.
I haven't stopped listening to it. Like there'll be albums that come out and it's like okay, it's you hear it and it's like that's really good, and it might fade away. Where this one, it's stuck with me.
So there you guys have it. Code Orange, 8.5 stars for me, 9.5 for Mike, and go out, pick it up, please, and listen to it all the way through. You'll realize it's a lot to unpack, and
listen to
it.
Listen to it with headphones too.
Yes. Yes.
I listen to a lot of stuff.
Don't listen on your phone.
Yeah, I mean, I'll listen after having listened to it a bunch of times. I will, but like to really appreciate and feel it, like just put on a good pair of headphones and just sit there for an hour and go through it. And
to appreciate what these Pittsburgh guys did, you got to sit there with the headphones. And girl, yeah.
Yep. So there you go.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Code Orange underneath. Make sure you pick it up.